Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's Fab Friday. And not only is it Fab Friday, it's the last day of school, which is kind of exciting and kind of scary. Yeah. I feel like I just went back. So today we are going to be talking about cutting edge wellness. I've got my beautiful guest, Jo McGregor. I love how you've called yourself Jo McG is in the house.
Yes. Yeah, so last year when I had a job, there was a couple of Joes, so I just became Jo McG, just made it easier for everybody, and it's stuck.
I like it. Jo McG, it sounds good. So, hey, I'll do a little quick intro and then I'll ask you to elaborate on that. So you guys, Jo and I have been friends for, I don't know, like maybe 10 years or something like that. We were introduced by a mutual friend, Jude Clark, who we totally love. And Jude and I were antenatal buddies together. Our daughters were born 1 week apart. And through Jude, I met Jo. And that's back in the day when I lived in Christchurch before the earthquakes and all the things. And we've reconnected only, I guess, in the last 6 months when you reached out to me. So we're going to talk a little bit about like connecting with people and reaching out, and we really, we took it from there. So I'm excited for you to share a little bit of your journey and telling us about Healy World, which is what you're going to talk about today. So kick us off. Tell us a little bit about the backstory and how did you get into the wellness space?
Awesome. So thank you for having me on, Natalie. And it's been such an interesting journey. Most of my adult life I've been a vet nurse, and then I was an animal carer for a TV show Fanimals, which was on a couple of years ago, or for 2 years, and that ended. And so I've always been in the health and wellness of the animal world, and contracts just didn't begin because of COVID, etc. And so it's like, right, what else will I do this year? And this kind of like that opened up the world, and sort of Healy by divine guidance just fell into my lap, and this is it right here. And it is a health and wellness device for animals and people. So obviously created, no doubt, for people first, but animals are also benefiting from the goodness of it. So if you want to know what it specifically is, I'm actually running a program now. It's sending frequencies through these little cords, which you can't see, but they're connected to my wrists there on a strap, and it's sending microcurrents of frequency to my cells at a cellular level to help me improve in multiple ways, because there's so many different frequencies. So are you familiar with frequencies at all yourself, Natalie?
I mean, I am, because my friend Gemma talks about them a lot. I don't know if other people are, but also I definitely want to say, like, how does it work with the animals? Because I don't imagine you like connect that to their paws, or maybe you put something on the collar.
Yeah, so for the bigger ones you can. I've seen ear clips being put onto the big dogs' ears, and they're receiving frequencies through that. And you can, you can actually put them on to that, and just it's a little bit of wetting them, on the zone where there's less hair is where you want to put them. I have actually also been using my chicken. My chicken Peanut has not been acting very happy lately, and so I brought her inside yesterday, and I just using the resonance model, because there's 4 different models of the Healy, I was able to actually I just dialed it up and gave her frequencies of, I suppose, of just a relaxation one is what I'd worked on, and it just sat it on her back, and she just sat on my lap and went to sleep and received them. And very interestingly, last night after that, she came back to the door as if she's like, hey, can I have my again? Yeah, it's very cool. But yes, the whole aspect of a Healy, it is a medical device. I'll read out the disclaimer because I want to get it very clear. It is a device for pain, chronic pain, fibromyalgia, skeletal pain, and migraine, as well as the supportive treatment of mental illnesses such as depression, anxiety, and sleep-related disorders. So that is what it does do. It will do this for you.
So that's what you're allowed to say. Awesome.
Yes, this is what it is proven to do. And so in Europe, it is called a Class 2A medical device. In America, it's FDA approved to be a medical device. Here in New Zealand and Australia, it's still called a holistic device, but it is meeting all the different health standards to, particularly in Europe, to be called a medical one. That is what they do. So, anyone suffering from migraines and fibromyalgia, I've just got a very personal friend, Vanessa, who, her fibro went from an 8 out of 10 daily in pain right down to a 3 within a few days of using the Healy on her, which is literally, you can't tell that it's happening, but I'm receiving some beautiful vibes. I can't really feel it. I just know that my cells are being going back to a more holistic state, a more balanced level. Yeah. Does that make sense?
It does. With fibro, it's interesting because I do know a couple of friends with that. It can be so debilitating. Like one of my friends, she sometimes has to have a crutch, because she's just in so much pain. Interesting. So you loaned me one when I came down to Christchurch, and I did that coaching session with my awesome clients down there. You and I caught up. You loaned me one, and I've been, Jonah was wearing it, and it's so funny because you put it on the wrists, and then I said to them, like, put it through your top, or else you feel like, it feels like handcuffs. So you have to put it through your top, and that's cool. And this is classic Jonah. He's like, oh, I'm going to dial it right up to 80. Like he wanted to, whereas then I put it on Ruby later and she was like having it at like 20% or whatever. So no, it is quite fascinating. If you guys don't know, I am a little bit woo-woo. Like I'm open to the holistic stuff. I do love the natural things. Obviously everyone knows what I'm into with Go-To Girl Essential Wellness, but also, if you look on my shelf here, I actually have a master's of environmental education. Like I'm super into the environment and natural things. So when you mentioned it, I was like, tell me more.
Well, it's been designed by a quantum physicist, and there's a whole team of physicists and scientists in Germany. And it's originally come from the great big machine called a time waver. So Marcus Schmecker, who developed it, decided he actually became a monk for 12 years post creating the time waver, and then came back from that amazing spiritual journey and said, actually, I want to make something so that everyone can have a wearable wellness versus going into a clinic once a week or once a month. They can also see the the therapist, but also go home with some sort of daily treatment to receive if they can't always go back and forth. So that's the concept of it. It's for conscious entrepreneurs, basically, because it really is going to raise the vibes of the world. If everybody's healing themselves and coming back to a way more balanced body, you're just giving your body an opportunity to come back to the equilibrium that we all should have. And it's just going to make for a lot more happy people for relieving themselves of this unnecessary pain.
In a minute, I'll ask you to describe a couple of the program choices, but meaning like balance or pure or whatever they're called. No, but it's interesting. I love the fact that it's empowering people. I'm all about helping you have the wellness you want. And while there's definitely, a place for going and see the chiro, go and see the osteo, like I'm super into that kind of stuff, acupuncture, whatever, GP if you need it, however, I think it's really cool. It's empowering that they can have this wearable device. And I feel like the timing is so great because everyone's so used to like frickin' counting their steps and wearing the whatever it is on the wrist. So people are used to having some sort of technology thing. And does it also provide insight for them as to what's going on?
Yes, so there are 4 models of the Healy. So they all look the same. It's just the same hardware. Inside it, however, is different software. And so the basic model starts at around 800 and is a lovely generic programs that is in every single Healy. And that's what I'm running right now. It's called a Being.
Yeah, like the foundational programs.
Yeah, and it's literally helping my cells get back to a more functional level, like getting rid of the toxins and oxygenating, making me feel more blissful, really, is what it is. And there's also one for relaxation. There's one for pure, which has been described as just receiving a great big hug, so they're really beautiful programs. And then the next device up has more things in it. For example, there is one for fitness. There might be one for, actually I can tell you now exactly what it is. There's sleep programs, which is why we bought it, because my husband was having terrible sleeping problems and waking up at 3 maybe to pee or whatever, and then not being able to get back to sleep and just incredibly restless and then very grumpy. And so that's how I decided that we needed one in our household. And he's sleeping like a baby. He really is post when he puts on a Healy at night time before going to bed, he'll sleep through 10 hours tops, or if he does need to get up in the night, he does get to go straight back to sleep. And that was the reason why we purchased it.
Yeah.
And then
so on that, he's not wearing it to bed. He's doing it like half an hour or whatever before bed.
Yeah, you can wear it to bed. I have worn it to bed, but there's a few cords,
Yeah. I really want to know, like, his reaction initially, like you just said, oh, yep, and he wears it for sleep. And was he kind of at first like, okay, honey, whatever? Like, some people are so skeptical, and they're like, oh, it must be the placebo effect or whatever. Like, what was his initial response when you're like, hey, plug this in and give it a go?
Well, we went to an actually demonstration in Christchurch. So there was a few of us that arrived. Lovely Tish Crampton brought it into New Zealand, and so we went to her demonstration night, and Jimmy put it on to start off with, to say, hey, try this energy thing, let's just give it a whirl, and we plugged him in and put it on and dialed him up. And he discovered that he was incredibly sensitive to the microcurrents, and he couldn't get past 10%. It was like, whoa! And he was just like, this is so powerful. So we turned it back down to a good 5 or 10, and he was like, whew, but anything above that, like I'm running mine at 60 now, and I can feel little pins and needle things, but he can't go past 10. And when we put the sleep one on him that night at the pub, he went, oh, this is so lovely. And you could just literally see him he was in such a relaxed state. It was magic. And I thought,
he's a go-getter. He's like me. He's like on fire and buzzing and all the things.
Yes, he doesn't stop. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So to have him in that state of total relaxation, because he is not one to just sit around. He's always got to find something to do. It was lovely. And that's what I think was his problem in the night. He's just waking up and thinking about stuff, and now he can sleep through. Okay,
I'm so glad you shared that story. And we all know, stories are such a great way to learn and remember. I'm going to try the sleep cycle, because I haven't tried that. I've really been doing it on my kids. So I'm going to try the sleep cycle on me, because I am like a really crap sleeper, basically. So that'll be interesting. Stay tuned. So if you guys are watching us live or watching the replay, go ahead and post a comment if you've got a question for Jo. Like, would it help with this? Or whatever. Or you can private message her at the end. We're going to get to the how you can get in touch type stuff. But I also love, Jo, how you were like, it's $800. I love that you're so transparent about the price, because a lot of people, when they do, a certain product, they'll be like super evasive, even about what it is, or definitely the price. So I love that you're like straight up about that. That's super cool. Now there's a couple versions that are more pricey, right?
Correct. Yes. The website has them all in Singapore dollars, so I just did the translation of that to New Zealand. So it's $720 plus packaging and delivery, etc. is $800. So the next package up is $1440, which has got more like another 30 programs on it, and the next one up again. So the programs specifically are mental balance and Meridians. So if you think of the Chinese have known all about our meridians for thousands and thousands of years, and now we can actually use a Healy and tap into it without needles, which is always a good thing. But I'm not taking away any holistic alternative therapies. It's actually a beautiful meetup of both. So that's what I love about going to. I had a Reiki session the other day, and it was beautiful at the same time to receive Healy care as well, so that was an option I could have chosen, or and just go home with the following the same feelings you get from receiving from an energy healer or a chiropractor or an osteo. It's just the fact you can do it at home as well as absolutely. Now the resonance one is a little bit more special, because that's the one is 3,600. And what that does, it actually scans your body, so you can actually focus, because the phone is like an interpreter to the Healy. So you're just using this as a diagnostic tool to just say, this is what I want. And you're telling the quantum sensor in the back of this what it is you're after and what program you want to run. And the resonance actually tells you what you need. So the other three are what you feel like, what you're intuitively feeling. Do you know what I feel like I need to do a learning program because I'm about to have an exam, or so you can put on the programs to receive specifically what you feel like you need, whereas the resonance actually says, actually, Jo, you need to focus on your aging skin right now, which is what's been coming up for me the last few days. I'm clearly not drinking enough water. And it's saying, Jo, beauty first. And it's just interesting. And there's also a fitness one, there's a job one, so it's like mental fatigue. So there's such a variety of programs you can use. You can seek guidance with your chakras as well. It's limitless. So also the cool thing is there are other frequency sort of products out there, but what this does, it actually chooses what your body needs and then sends the exactly right specific sequences and frequencies back to you. So if you were to put on the being one straight after me, what you receive will not be what I've just had. So it's completely individualized to you.
So how many can somebody do in a day? Like, I'm sure there's an amount that's like too many.
Yeah. So Marcus Schmecker, he's recommended only 3 a day.
Yeah.
Because that way, he described it as like watching a movie. If you watched a movie back to back, back to back, back to back, you're not giving your mind time to actually integrate what you've just witnessed. And so same with the Healy program, you do the cycle and then you allow time to integrate for your cells.
Hours. Like you wouldn't do back to back. You wouldn't binge watch, binge Healy. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Morning, noon and night, or that's the encouraged to do. And yeah, there's 144,000 different frequencies. So there's just an amazing amount of frequencies that are perfect, and they're patented as well. Amazon apparently tried to buy the Healy, and they said no, it's for conscious entrepreneurs. We want to use it as a tool for everybody to reconnect with the world and raise the vibration of the world.
That's interesting that you mentioned, because this week in the world of Up Your Brave, we are talking about growing your business. That's our theme. And I know that this is an education-based product, and that's why, obviously selling something on Amazon, which is very much like a shopping cart, consumering, click the button and it comes to you. Whereas, so is that what you mean by conscious entrepreneurs who actually love the concept? They need to educate people, and then people want to get it.
Yes. So it is a social selling. It is a network marketing tool. So they aren't in shops. It is going back to the person who linked you to it, who can lead you on to show you, explain it, how to use it, how it began, the history of it, etc. And then if you are interested, or you want to just experience one for a day or a week, you can. And then if you want to purchase, can. And it's networking. He literally did say it in a video I watched, how important it is to reconnect people back with people. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I was thinking about the chicken coming to the door and going, hey, can I have another program? So do you have people, like when you just said about people can try it, can people, I know you're in Christchurch, can they literally come to your house and try it? Or like, do you just have a couple and you loan those out? I know I've got one of them at the moment. I feel very lucky.
Yes.
If anyone wants after me in Auckland, be in touch.
Yes. Yes. So both of mine are loaned out. I got very excited because when they first launched it, when I first found it, I'll start again. There is anyone who actually ever buys one has an opportunity to sell 3 directly to anyone else that they know who wants one in the first month, and they will receive something similar for free. So that was the promo that came out when I discovered it in March. So I bought the resonance because I wanted to have that ability to scan, and I did sell 3, and then I've got a new free resonance coming to me shortly. So that's the offer that's always there in the first month of joining up as a member. Okay. And what did you ask me about the chicken?
Oh, you know how the chicken comes to the door and it's like, hey, can I have an appointment? Do you have people coming for like appointments?
Yes. So the team Healy Christchurch have been doing little promotions at the Carlton. We do intend to create other bigger functions, like perhaps champagne and chakra nights, where you can have your chakras read and have bubbles at the same time, or there's just all these things that we will definitely be having in Christchurch specifically. I have no problem coming up to Auckland and doing demonstrations up there as well. I look forward to getting on a plane, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's interesting because post-COVID, I think what I'm seeing is that people are really like, wellness has bubbled to the top in terms of their priority. They're going, and a lot of people now that they've come through the craziness, they're like, okay, you know what? They're ready. I talk about the zones, right? The should zone, the frustration zone. A lot of people I think are in that frustration zone, maybe with their health, where they're like, you know what? Enough is enough. Like, I need to get this sorted. And it's really cool that this is one of many, many options for people to just really like get sorted with their health. It's like me, get sorted with your sleep.
Yeah. Yes, I'm very open to having appointments. Just I definitely can, use my resonance, using my phone as a tool to show people exactly what's out of balance in their health. And then they can choose to either borrow one or just have the experience of one program and just see if there's a change. There are amazing changes from people. Some are more subtle. I guess the more healthy you already are, the changes will be more subtle. But there's a whole Facebook group of testimonials, of course, because it doesn't meet the conventional medicine beliefs or proof that things are happening. But there's thousands and thousands of testimonials of people going, I can't believe the differences in my sciatica and my Lyme disease, and there's so many different things that are coming out on this Facebook group. But but I can absolutely link you into that too if you wanted to read over testimonials.
I don't need to read over testimonials, but I have a few things. I'm thinking of getting one. Sciatica. My son with alopecia, with Jonah, it's like he's tried it and he wore it. Remember, he cranked it up to 60%, but he's the kind of guy that like the novelty will wear off and he won't really want to like do it. He's like, oh, let Ruby try. Can they still get the benefit if it's in the house, but they're not wearing it? Like or do they really have to have it on? How does that work?
So the fact when the cords are running, it means you are getting direct microcurrents going to your at cellular level. When I'm just running the resonance, so if I was to clip it off and just, I can actually use this on vibrate mode, and with my intention focus on the photo of the person that I've taken a photo of in my phone. And yes, they don't necessarily need to be in the house. I can actually send healing vibes anywhere. And that's the cool thing about frequencies, because they're everywhere. And
okay, a lot of people are going to go like, what right now?
I know. But it is. I mean, if we are all energy, if we think about, our bodies, we're skin and bone, but inside the skin and bone is cells. Inside the cells are atoms. Hone in more, the atoms are subatomic particles, and inside that, there's protons and neutrons and all that, and beyond that is energy. So we're just these vibrating beings. And so it does sound woo-woo, but it's scientifically proven now. And like 100 years ago, Nikola Tesla, that was all his whole entire belief. As a quantum scientist, he was saying, if you want to know the secrets of the universe, go within. But he couldn't prove anything then, and now we do have the technology to prove that there is such a thing. Quantum physics is huge, and epigenetics and all these other things that are coming back to the forefront, and we're seeing just so more people just really taking charge of their own health, and that's the really exciting thing about it. And they can now; they don't have to rely on pills and potions to do it.
Yeah, I think, whatever empowers people, honestly, to do things, and also parents, what empowers parents to help their kids is awesome. So let's talk a little bit about the business side. Like, I know that like ups and downs of business and putting yourself out there and Instagram and Facebook. So if you could give advice to somebody starting a business, whatever it might be, looking at your journey, which is quite a recent journey, I suppose, what advice would you share with us?
Yeah, so I guess I do wake up in the morning, and I always begin my day with gratitude, and I always say everything I already said. Everything is always working out for me. That's what I say every morning. And the other business quote is if it's meant to be, it's up to me, because I have sort of dabbled in other network marketing last year, but it didn't really work. I didn't have the alignment, I suppose, with the products and things. And so this one, when it arrived in March, I was like, this is it. This is what all that dabbling was for now. And it has been literally, I guess through the lockdown, it was a little bit more tough, because that was when it arrived, and then we couldn't share it with anybody. And it really is a sharing, caring kind of product. people like to really experience it and see, talking about it isn't, I think that people really need to feel it to experience it. But there are some people who just go, I know exactly that this is going to help for me, and I understand frequencies, and this is it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, those are really good bits of advice as well. Starting with a positive mindset, which is obviously massive. And then I call it, taking empowered action, which is if it's meant to be, it's up to me. And because you're right, a lot of people in business, they will not put themselves out there, whatever that means to them. And so good on you. It's not easy. But the thing is, and my motto, if you don't love it, don't do it. And maybe that's what your other thing was. You're like, you didn't love it enough to push through all the ups and downs of business. But now you've found something that you do love, which is awesome.
I truly have. Yeah, I've just gone, this is absolutely it, because from the testimonials, you can just see how many lives are changing. And that's just, what could you ask for? Just people are just, the vibe of the world is just lifting, and we're reconnecting with people, and it's beautiful to see. Yeah.
Now, carrying on with the growing your business theme, I want to talk a little bit about Jimmy, your husband's, because when I popped in and saw you last week, I feel like it was a bit of a turning point for you guys, where he kind of is now embracing, I think he was working on your website and he was doing some of the back end stuff, which is interesting because he's a builder. Now he's helping you build your website. So yeah, where is that at? And what are your guys' plans as a couple in terms of Healy world?
Yes. So beautifully over lockdown, our garage was too full to fit cars in, but he managed to use up all the wood in lockdown and make a really beautiful studio. So that was the first goal, was wow, we can have Healy evenings now in a lovely warm room outside the house. And
it's like a man cave. It's got a bar, and it has a boat in it that you had a party in.
Yes, we have boat parties. One day on the river when it stops raining. And yeah, I'm not techie, and I've said that many, many times, and finally he really got it, that actually if this is going to work, he does need to help. So I fully am so grateful that he's helping me now doing these. He's making my website and just getting more and more involved in creating my videos for me, and actually I can do the videos, but I don't want to just learn how to put it in here.
I know. Everyone needs one of those. Everyone needs a Jimmy to help. I know my husband, Matt, he was like, oh, I'm just editing this thing for work and putting the front and the back on the video. I'm like, hello. So I'm going to sign up. Help me out with my videos too, please. Because I like just recording, but not editing and things. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about, you mentioned your website. How can people find you? And can they do a consult on Zoom if they're not in Christchurch? Or how does that work?
Well, yes, I can use my resonance to give them a free analyzing. Yeah, I can analyze them over the phone or via Zoom. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Work out what they need. Well, as long as I've got my intention focused on them, it will pick up.
And not on work for dinner. So yeah. So tell me, let's do what's coming up and how can people connect with you?
Well, coming up, this is the absolutely perfect time for anyone in New Zealand who's interested in Healy's, because the launch started 1st of July and goes through to the 15th of July, meaning that if you were to purchase the base model, you'll actually receive the next model up with more programs in it, and next one up and next one up. So if you actually purchase the Holistic Plus, it will mean you actually get the Resonance, which is about $1,200 off. So yeah, 2,100 instead of 3,600. So that's a huge, beautiful way to introduce it to. And of course, there's a money back guarantee, and they will take a while because they're coming from Germany, but it's definitely worth the investment. I can't believe just the different uses that it has, and it's for everybody. It's a category created. There's nothing else like it in the world, and it's going to upset the fitness industry, the health industry, the beauty industry. It's just insane the amount of uses that you can have. I mean, imagine receiving a facial and at the same time as receiving frequencies to help your skin elasticity, or after you've done a workout at the gym, you put on the muscle one, which helps get rid of the lactic acid. There's also an app which I haven't purchased yet, but I will this month, on a nutrition app, and you can actually work out exactly what you're lacking in and then receive the frequencies to get it back. So if vitamin B12 you're down in, you can actually send yourself the frequency to receive vitamin B12.
Wow, crazy.
And there's so many different apps in that specific app itself just for nutrition. And there is a Healy watch as well, where it measures the ECG. Yes, it is like an ECG, and also measures your sleeping patterns through the night as well. Using that can tell you what program you need to run the next day, having to read how your sleep was. So it's the tech is amazing. And I'm not a scientist, so I can't really.
I know, that's why I called this cutting edge wellness, because it really is like cutting edge. Hey, so 2 questions. One is, they just need a smartphone or a smartphone?
Yes, you need a smartphone. Yeah.
Okay. And number 2, can you upgrade? So like, let's say someone purchases the 800, which this month they get as a 1400 value or whatever. Yes. They then, like 3 months later or whatever, get the resonance tech, or is it a totally different thing?
No, so this is my one device, and everything I wanted will be received in here. And so literally you just ask for an upgrade, and within a week, maybe, I'm not sure how long it takes, but you ask for an upgrade on the shop website, and then it just delivers it to this. You just push update at some point and just check for settings, and it goes and all this other stuff is in it and ready for you.
Awesome. Okay, I totally look forward to hearing people's comments. So you guys go ahead and comment with your questions. I'm sure there'll be lots of people excited, but also people go a bit skeptical, because you always get that. So super excited to see what people have to say about this. Thank you for upping your brave, by the way, Jo. I know that when we first reconnected, maybe 4 months ago, you were like really apprehensive about doing like Facebook Lives and videos, and like here you are on a live stream. So go you.
Yes, thank you. Well, that's right. It is. Thank you, because that was your course, Amplify, that encouraged me to do this. And so learning from your amazing abilities, and I've been watching you, for years since you left.
Well, you've been on TV before that, so you credit to you.
But that was, it's the Amplify course. If anyone does that, if anyone wants to up their brave, go check with Natalie, because it's a brilliant once a week check-in, and she gives us little bits of homework, and it's been brilliant.
Amazing. Yes, this week, growing your business. All right, you guys, so let's talk about where can they find you online, like social media, and also the website.
Yeah, so they need to contact me ideally so I can link them into the specific groups. And use my Facebook would be the easiest one. I can just pop that in below, can I? And they can just connect with me there, or by messenger.
So if you only have, I don't know if you have a business Facebook page, but if you only have personal, sometimes you miss it. What about also, could they just text you? Like, hey, Jo, I saw your video. Can I do a Zoom with you, a free Zoom, to talk about it if your Healy thing?
Absolutely. Because I'm Jo McGregor I do have a business page.
In the house?
But my website's still under construction, so I can't quite send you there.
But you're happy about that. No, that's cool. So they can send you a text, and you'll probably give them a call or whatever, or they can find you on Facebook. Amazing.
Yes,
awesome. Thanks so much. And I'm going to keep sharing my journey. If I can keep the Healy for one more week, I got to try the sleep cycle for myself. So enough with the kids. It's my time.
There's sometimes a bit of a fight. That's why we got a couple, and now they're out loan. But there was, to start with, my daughter was like, no, I don't believe any of this. I'm not remotely interested. But there's, her monthlies come around, and she's used it for pain.
I'm really happy you just mentioned that.
And she won't be impressed that I've mentioned that. But it's worked for her. So she doesn't do Facebook. We're too old.
We're all good. We're all good. Oh, that's so funny. That's amazing. It's interesting. I feel like as humans, we put up with a lot. Like we kind of go, I've had this ringing in my ears for so long, like it'll never get better. I talk about your big 5 for life. When I coach people, I literally go, what are the 5 things you want to do, be, and have in your life? And that comes from my amazing friend, John Strzelecki, who's incredible, who wrote that book. And I was thinking about my big 5 the other day. And one of them is to take the family to Canada, not right now, but later, and travel around and see my own country, which I haven't really seen. One of them is to get the feeling in my foot back, because a lot of people what they don't know about me is I do walk with a little bit of a limp, because I have half of my left foot is kind of numb from my back injury. and for Jonah to grow his hair back. Like those are 3 of my 5 big 5s. I also want to speak on stage alongside some specific, very amazing people and totally ramp up the state of resilience, health, and happiness on a global scale. So there's a few things I want to do. Some of them are for me. And so I don't know, maybe this is a turning point for me. I have spent thousands of dollars on lots of things, and I'm sure other people can relate with whatever's going on for them and their health. I feel like as humans, we put up a lot, but sometimes you got to go, you know what? Like enough is enough. I'm ready to heal. And so maybe Healy is the thing. Thank you so much, Jo, for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me.
Awesome. All right, you guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week on Fab Friday.